Okay.
Hello.
So Liz, if you have two kittens. I've been on this building. I don't know, actually be good.
Okay, we should be good, unless we're not.
I walked. It was like
Okay.
light, it was so consistent.
Yeah.
You could hear them both. I don't know. Like my favorite. I gotta sit in my gallery, so that it's very sleep. And then I get to see. Does Donna know about that title?
I have a feeling she might.
She'd be like, my aunt's got to go back. Hard day. Why haven't you doing yours? Hard day, 8:40 this morning, so.
Does this work? I feel like this is gonna be working.
What? Imagine.
Is that working now? Hold on. I don't know.
You're not allowed.
Hold on, can you like watch Twister?
Last time I watched Twister was an anomaly. I've watched Twister so many times before that. Where the things like I almost want to come down to, but it did not occur. 9 minutes something.
Yeah.
We got it, so they got Dorothy free. Oh, good. I made it to the good part. But I have added things like. Just, okay.
How would you? Hi.
No. I didn't.
Yeah.
Hello, Hannah. If you would be so kind as to share your ID number for me so that I can get you registered on Presence.
It's always like 2 minutes. Now it was a case. A lot.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Both, so it's easier to grab them. They're situational for a
All right, I'm gonna type in some instructions in the chat for you, so I don't have to repeat myself about this in front of everyone else.
That's what we know. It has sensory.
Exactly. That's gonna get a cheap like this.
Yeah.
That's gonna get a I. Sorry. Oh, also,
Okay, sounds good. Sounds perfect. All right.
My sister, she.
Right. Your purchase owner, you're 5.
Okay, all right. We have a lot to get through tonight, so I am just going to go ahead and kickstart everything if everyone's ready.
Bad, all right, perfect. So, as a reminder, is this working? Adam, you cursed it, what the fuck? The flash drive's in here, you know what? That's fine. Oh, it's because I didn't click on this. Haha, anyways, pay your freaking dues. If you haven't already, you have until Friday. You pay it to any of the executive boards from Boosted or AMS. If you don't know who the executive boards of Boosted and AMS are, AMS, raise your hands. You see them? Boosted, raise your hands. You see them? Pay it to them, please, or you can pay it to me. All right, so I'm going to get started with the AMS and NWA side of things. So Noah, what about weather calendars?
You just said you were gonna get started.
Okay, and that
Okay.
includes you too.
Weather calendars were ordered yesterday.
Yeah.
Woo!
It was an easy, smooth process with no complications whatsoever.
Exactly. Hell yeah.
The prices are the same as they were last year, so if you have paid your dues and you are a member, it'll only be $10. If you have not paid your dues, it'll be $15. So if you needed more motivation to pay your dues to Gabe, there you go. They will be shipping over Thanksgiving break, probably arriving, I think, the Monday we get back. So we will obviously not be distributing them until after. And then the specific dates and times, normally what happens is the vice president just hangs out in the weather center and you find and you can say how many you ordered or want to buy or not pre-order, and then just transact. And the specific times I will be there, send out over there. So be sure to check it. That's all I have.
Incredible. Woo! All right, so I just wanted to have a little piece in here, looking ahead. Are there anything, if there is anything that you'd like AMS to do in terms of professional development opportunities? If you hear about something around the region, you want us to know about it, please reach out and let us know. You're always welcome to email me at my personal email or at valpo.ams.nwa@valpo.edu. So just throwing it out there. Always feel free. I'm always happy to talk about opportunities to help you guys develop. Chloe, talk about some of your swag.
Okay, so we're gonna have AMS swag.
Woo!
Swag. If you have any like ideas of what you really want, shirts, socks, whatever else, if you have something new, let me know, and we can see if we can make it happen. Also, for the love of God, send me what we need. Thank you. Like tonight, send me some. It makes my life a lot easier. So thank you.
Incredible. Will, did you have a question?
No, it was stupid.
There is no such thing as a stupid question.
Okay, is everyone seeing the ads on TikTok, like the meat undies?
Yeah.
Can we get those?
You don't want to know.
That's okay, Noah. You'll be fine.
And well, you're.
All right. So the last thing that I have to mention generally is I'd like for you all to stay updated at the national level. So we are what is considered the local chapter of the American Meteorological Society and National Weather Association, but you can absolutely become involved at the national level for only $20. You get a lot of benefits if you do this, especially if you are applying as a sophomore or freshman. Some things that you get as benefits of being an AMS member on the national level is you have reduced registration fees for the AMS National Conference for the student and official main conference. You have the access to the Bulletin of American Meteorological Society, they call it BAMS. You also have access to magazines such as Physics Today, where they talk about advancements in STEM related subjects. You have first person access to webinars on a variety of topics. I've sent you guys emails about those. You will get those in your inboxes before I can forward them to you. And there are also just a lot more benefits when it comes to being an AMS member. You have more opportunities to network. You have a lot of professionals who are a part of the AMS community. You have a lot of Valpo alum who are a part of the AMS community. You have professors who frequently go to the AMS National Conference. You have a lot of people who you can talk to within the AMS community if you would like to advance yourself professionally. That is that on my spiel. I'm going to remind you guys about why we asked you to pay dues, because I realized that we've never explained this to you guys, and I feel like you want to know where you're putting your money. So why do you pay dues? You pay dues because dues are helpful. Dues help us to keep traditions like GLMC and the weather calendars continued into the forthcoming years, because if you haven't realized, paying for weather calendars and paying for GLMC just using, you know, random fees we get here and there has us at a loss instead of a profit. So we have dues so that we can try and keep these things going on. You help us to support our mission. With your dues, we have money that we can use to give you guys more professional development opportunities coming later, and to have you have more opportunities to be involved within things such as GLMC or weather calendar planning or things of the sort. So dues help with that. You also benefit. By paying your dues, you're eligible to vote, be elected, and serve on the executive board of AMS. You are a member of our local chapter officially. We put your name on our website. If people search your name, they'll find it on there. Very good for background checks and job checks so that they know you're not BSing. You get discounts on weather calendars and other merchandise that we give out, and you can become a committee member. If you want to be on a committee for GLMC that NOAA is planning for late April, then you are able to be a committee member if you are a member of AMS. Great opportunity, fun, exciting, silly. You also get discounts for GLMC if you're a committee member, so double benefits. And none of the money goes to us. So your money is safe. I'm not going to spend it recklessly. None of it goes to me. All right, so I wanted to announce that I had an idea tentatively to go to the National Weather Service in Chicago for a tour in person. So I would plan this to be sometime in February or March of next year, because let's face it, it's almost the end of the semester after Thanksgiving break. I'm not going to put that pressure on you guys to go to NWS Chicago, especially with winter storms here, there, and out there. So
You mean NWS Memorialville?
so I'm just like, I emailed the National Weather Service in Chicago today about this, like this morning. They haven't gotten back to me, I assume because they're worried about that. But if we are able to do this, we would ideally have a carpool situation where upperclassmen can, you know, volunteer their cars in order to drive out to the National Weather Service station, and we could have a tour planned for that time. So tentatively, I would just like to gauge interest from all of you. If you would like to be a part of this, you don't have to be a member of AMS to do this. This is for the meteorology department, geography department in general. So if you're interested, let me know. Thank you, Caleb. Caleb followed directions very, very great. Hell yeah. I like all those thumbs up. I like those hands.
Hey, yo.
What? Ed, come on now.
I'm just here to play devil's advocate.
Okay,
We can see back to the weather.
Yeah.
fair enough.
We drive 10 hours.
No. We walk.
Yeah.
Oh, no. All right, yeah, so I just have this tentatively planned, more details forthcoming. Government entities have issues with COVID and COVID regulations, so we're gonna see how that all plays out in terms of group sizes and also whether or not we can even do it. So yeah, I wanted to keep that on your radars. Get it? So. So the next thing I have is, remember those silly little bylaw amendments I was talking about the last joint meeting? We're officially confirming those because our ad hoc committee has combined and they have determined that what we have is good to go. So just as a reminder of what we are amending specifically, we changed the language to include the AMS portion of AMS NWA because our original constitution only had the NWA piece. And we have added the sophomore social chair position as an official executive board position. So yay, Kat, you will be an executive board member after this meeting if everyone says you should be. So
Yeah.
if you guys would like to see the documents that I have comparing the two, like the original constitution versus the revised constitution, I can pull that up for you right now. I think this should still be sharing on the other end. So just take a look at the right side. I can scroll through it and you can see some of the changes that we've made. So one of the ones that we've made already that I'll point out is Northwest Indiana chapter shall pursue the goals outlined by American Meteorological Society and National Weather Association instead of just National Weather Association. I changed this from American from, what did I put? Dude, this is so hard to read. It really is. Oh my God. It is ancient. I can't understand this. All right. So, generally speaking, it includes American Meteorological Society in the language, and I'm just going to scroll down to the officers area. Officers of the Northwest Indiana chapter shall consist of the president, the vice president, the treasurer, the secretary, and the social chair. I have to change that to sophomore. That's my bad, cat. So I also have an official position in the section for the Constitution. The sophomore social chair must be of an undergraduate sophomore academic standing. So if you're a junior, senior, freshman, you cannot be the sophomore social chair. You shall plan events for members outside of local chapter meetings, recruit committee members for events, and serve on the executive board. Sound good to you, Kat? Play. And I think that these are generally the same, just anywhere where we mention AMS, NWA, it gets changed, or anywhere where we mentioned NWA got changed to AMS. I am so sorry. This is so hard to read, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constitution. I'm just gonna take your word for it.
Yeah. I can pull up the official Constitution if that's easier, if you want to review it.
I mean, do a better job.
Still
Yeah.
issue. Yeah, seriously.
I trust you enough.
Well, that's a very dangerous thing to say.
Okay.
That is on official record, by the way. I say that proudly. Anyways. So if you guys feel comfortable with the amendments, if there's not anything you'd like to look at specifically, if you're kind of iffy, buggy about something, we can vote. Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. It's gonna work the same way I did the last time. I have the gavel. Ryan. I have the gavel. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put your heads down just like in a crud class. So put your heads down, please. I am going to tell you to vote. So any amendments that include changing of wording to the Constitution, those voting in favor of yay, please raise your hands. Those voting in favor of nay. All righty. Heads up. Constitution amendment passed. Congratulations, guys. All right. Heads down one more time. I'm doing this in a silly, goofy way, I know. Including the sophomore social chair position, yay. Anyone in favor of nay? All right, heads up. Pass. Yay. All right. Back to the thingy. All right. Yay. Now on to the second round. We have more amendments, believe it or not. I know. More. So this is going to be reflected later with Bruce's portion of the slides. We are making amendments to our elections process for the 2022-2023 academic year. So some of these changes are going to include that potential AMS executive board candidates cannot run for more than 2 executive board positions on AMS. This change is also reflected within VUSITS, but you'll hear about that later. If a student is a part of the Chi Epsilon Pi Honor Society, they may run for 3 executive positions, but the limit for AMS still remains at 2. So even if you're a member of Chi Ep, that doesn't mean that you can run for 3 exec positions on AMS. You can still only run for 2. We will no longer check for membership within NWA. I am only concerned if you are a member of the local chapter. So, who's ready to vote? All right, heads down. Who says yay? And who says nay? Okay, sound good? Pass. That was simple. All right, amendment number 2. We are also including a DEI clause in our Constitution. If you are unsure what DEI stands for, it stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So the reasons why we're including this is because the Constitution is a little outdated. Oops. So we value all of our members, their safety, and their identity. We don't want anyone to feel like they are disincluded just because of some aspect of who they are. And the fact that we don't have one is concerning. The changes we will implement with this include a punishment system for those in violation of DEI clauses. I'm not going to physically assault you if I think you're in violation of the DEI clause. It's just sort of like you get a warning, your membership might be limited in some aspects, or you may be removed if you make continuous offenses. There's a confidentiality statement for those who are victims of a DEI-related incident. E-board members will give you full confidentiality. We will not share your information. We will not share your case. And we are outlining what constitutes a violation of DEI clauses. We aren't punishing you for fun. We're punishing you if you are being someone who violates a DEI clause. Any questions on that? Pretty straightforward. Sounds good. All right, heads down. In favor of moving the DEI clause forward, yay. How about nay? Okay, heads up. We passed it. Congratulations, you just went through the hardest part. Anyone who's part of the ad hoc committee for the elections and DEI clause, I will speak with you after the meeting today. I'm going to try and set a deadline for you to be after Thanksgiving break to determine whether or not these clauses are sufficient or whether or not they need to be changed. And then again, as we did with the sophomore social chair, we will present it to all of you who are in attendance here. I will send a poll. You will vote on whether or not yay or nay. We will pass it accordingly. All right, I think that's it from me, the peanut gallery. Oh, Will, get up here.
And over here, so the thing can hear me. Okay, for those who don't know, I am president of VEMO, which is the Valparaiso University Emergency Management Organization. This is a volunteer opportunity for not just everyone in this room, but literally everyone on this campus. So if you have friends, this sounds interesting to, tell them. Okay, so essentially, I have notes because I've messed with over time. All right, so we're doing a full-scale disaster. We're activating the whole incident command structure. This is good, which for those of you who don't know, the incident command structure is just something that every fire department in the United States uses. Police departments are starting to adopt it, but general overall, all emergency managers use this. So what we are planning to do is our club VEMO is hosting the event. The event is going to be a tornado is going to hit 807 Mount Street. Not actually, it's a fake tornado. We have many organizations involved, which includes 2 acting organizations to play victims. We have 2 nursing organizations to be EMTs and or triage units. We have us as the club of VEMO. We have a media organization, the UTV is involved, and then possibly WVUR if they get back to me in time. And then what we're looking for is search and rescue volunteers. You do not need to have any search and rescue volunteer experience because this is supposed to be an educational type of event. Just so you know, for safety, because I know this is a very big thing to just talk about. Nothing is real. Absolutely nothing is real. It's all going to be staged. We're going to have safe words in place in case anyone gets uncomfortable at any time during the event. It's all going to be monitored by the entire VUPD staff. All officers are going to be everywhere, making sure everything's going safely. And just as a quick disclaimer, there will probably be some more traumatic type things. We will have fake blood, fake limbs, fake beams and other things down in the building. So if you're more adverse to that, there's a little spot in this form that you could tell us that, but just consider if you are a little more adverse to like blood and limbs and such. You'd have to be available on 2 days next semester because we're doing something called a functional exercise before the actual event. That again is to go back for everyone's safety to make sure everyone knows exactly what's going on. At that event, we will be going through everything that's actually going to happen, like play by play, just through words on paper, just so everyone is on the same page and in the same room before the actual event happens. That is Saturday, March 25th, and that's going to be in the Hilltop Gym of the Arc. The actual event is going to be on April 29th, which is 1 week after GLMC, and that will be the entire day pretty much. So if you're interested in being a search and rescue volunteer, all you have to do is essentially show up, search the building. You will not be doing it alone. We have what are called tactical units, which are units of search and rescue people. We'll have 4 search and rescue volunteers. combined with one EMT and then one team lead. The team lead will be a VMO member who knows what the incident command structure is. So if you are involved with VMO or another organization that's already a part of this, you're probably not going to be an SNR volunteer because we need you elsewhere. Are there any questions before I sit down? I know I just threw a lot. Cool. In the QR code if you're interested, please.
All right.
I just got a text from Andy for Rose.
Play well. All right, Susan.
Sassy.
Alrighty. Who was the first on this?
So if you guys didn't know, there's like a banquet coming up. I have no idea how in God's good name you would not know that, but, so as you can probably see at the top, Saturday, December 3rd, 6:30. It is off campus at Casa del Roma, but as you can see in the beautiful points that are not in the right order that I'm talking about them in, if you can't get a ride from someone who's already going, we do have a spreadsheet as like a last resort to make sure that everyone's able to go. The reason we say it's a last resort is because I will if depending how many volunteers there are, I will have to leave Casa and then come get you and then go back and then leave again to pick up more people, which I'll be honest, I don't really want to do that. So, try to coordinate as best as you can, but if you can't get a ride, if you're a freshman, don't know anyone with a car, let us know. We want to make sure everyone can get there. I don't know how common knowledge it is, the entire semi-formal, things like homecoming type stuff. You don't have to wear like a whole suit jacket and everything, but don't come in sweatpants, please. Tickets prices are as listed. Non-members includes people who don't show up to our events. You want to bring your roommate and put them through misery, do it. Their ticket's $20. If you don't have a ticket, you don't get let in. That means that the November 30th deadline is a hard deadline. We have to plan for food and how many people are going to be there. So if you don't get your ticket, that's just that. Skits, for everyone who doesn't know, freshmen and sophomores do a skit kind of making fun of the upperclassmen, which will be organized by Alex. Evelyn will be organizing the junior senior skit, which makes fun of the professors.
I
And
sent out a Google form, fill it out. I will send it out again one last time before the meeting, but the deadline to fill that form out is tonight. That is regardless of whether you're an upperclassman or underclassman. Just so we're clear.
the professors do a skit too. So if you want to see that, you should come.
But they're
Give
not gonna
me
fill out the
your
Google
money.
form because
True.
they do their own.
And they're And then, in terms of food restrictions, because everybody is being provided food as part of the ticket price for the banquet. If you have food restrictions, you need to let us know 2 weeks ago. So if there's anything like super imminent, like allergies or like religious restrictions, let us know like as soon as humanly possible. Otherwise, there's a very good chance we will not be able to accommodate that. So all that aside, please come to the banquet. I will sob violently in every single class this department offers if you don't. Nobody wants that.
It's super fun. You should come. It was super fun last year. It'll be super fun again.
I'll be sticking around to take your money if anybody wants to buy tickets tonight.
Or you can see any other booths that you board member.
At any
Y'all want
point.
tickets.
No.
Those lines, all three of mine are so alive. Yeah.
I ended up with like, in case anyone's wondering what the theme is, it's underwater. Just so everyone kind of knows. It'll be cool. You should come.
I will hunt you down to Peyton. Peyton and I will hunt you
Please.
down.
Nobody wants that.
The banquet is not going to the banquet is not.
It's sad.
Dude. I'm sure you haven't been told to give people your money enough times tonight. So I'm not gonna make people come up here and grovel for money again, but same as AMS, dues keep our organization running. They let us provide all of the fun stuff that you guys get to come and do. If you pay, you're eligible to vote. You're eligible to vote for amendments too.
you're eligible to run for things. You pay less for your banquet ticket. You're officially considered a member of Visit, so you can chase. If you don't pay, first of all, you'll make Keaton and I sad. Please don't do that. You're still invited to participate in case studies and any events that we host, but you will not be allowed to chase. You can also still buy banquet tickets. They're just more expensive. That being said, you have until Friday. If you can't pay your dues by Friday, but you still fully intend to, please come talk to me as soon as possible. And we can work something out. Tonight would be a really good time to pay your dues if you haven't already. And please don't give us counterfeit money. The IRS is already making our lives hard enough this year. We don't.
Been doing that?
What?
Are people giving you fake money?
No, and I actually have no idea because
There's a way you can tell. There's a way you can tell.
It's because when I was a cashier, I had a counterfeit pen. And I would do like.
do you still have a counterfeit pen? You should get one of those.
Just randomly, you paying with counterfeit money.
Hi, besties. Okay, t-shirts, give me your money. So this is the design. Surprise! The t-shirts will be like a lightish blue color, but I wanted to show you just the plain design. So this is like just the design by itself. So t-shirts, we're charging 18 bucks a shirt. Crew necks, maybe a thing, fill out the form. I gotta like run some numbers before I put out the form. Form will be coming to an inbox near you very soon. So anyway, so crew decks will be a pre-order thing, so we're gonna gauge it based on interest and then go from there. So, hooray, woohoo! All right, upcoming event. Do you and Kat want to do it? Come on, Kat. Okay, you do yours first. Okay, I think it's after break Tuesday. I'm pretty sure that's a Tuesday. Where's my calendar? It's a Tuesday. I'm calling it a Tuesday. Okay. At 6 p.m. in this room, we'll be making hand turkeys to de-stress from finals. Well, becoming finals, that is, because everyone needs a break from studying or your brain will become liquid. Also, if you want to have any input on any events that we host next semester, fill out the Google form that will be hitting your inbox at 7 p.m. tonight. Okay, weather center decorating tomorrow, 5:30 to 8. You can come like whenever you want and be like, yeah, I'm gonna put up like this thing, you know. There will be hot chocolate. So, you know, that's incentive for a lot of you. The third case study is gonna be November 30th at 7:30 p.m. in KCH 210.
I will be sending out a form the Monday we come back from break. If you have interest in coming, it'll be just like the other forms, fill it out. I'll send a reminder Wednesday morning, but 7:30 in here.
Just want to come to the case study, support your local deputy director.
Because you want her, that doesn't mean we're.
First.
Whoa.
You did say. Whoa, that's so crazy. And that's superior. Insane. And articles of impeachment have just been found.
Anyways, Moosie Christmas banquet, which you have not heard enough of, December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. I am also hosting a Twister movie night before the semester ends, date and time to be decided, but I wanted you all to like keep an eye out. The time will be in the length of the entire movie in case you were confused. Just so you're aware, the entire like almost 2-hour movie. All right. Who here loves democracy and voting and doing their civic duty?
Me.
A concerning amount of you are not raising your hand. So at the last meeting, again, we did mention that we were going to be voting on some new amendments to our constitution because similar to HMS, our constitution is extremely outdated. So here's how this is going to work. Number one, you're going to get a brief overview of each proposed amendment. This will include what the amendment is doing, generally why we're doing it, and kind of what in our constitution is affecting. Number two, I will put up the actual copied and pasted constitution and the amendments. If there are changes that are not an entirely new article, they will be highlighted for your viewing pleasure. Number three, we'll have time for anyone to raise any concerns that they have, discuss the amendments a little more. Just if you have any questions for us on like why we chose a certain wording that we did, that would be the time to ask. And after the meeting tonight, we'll be sending out a Google form as ballots. Make sure you have those filled out by not next Wednesday, the Wednesday that we come back from break. This is just because the due deadline is on Friday and we want you to have time to pay those. Yes, Eric.
That form is only going out to members, correct? So if you paid your dues.
Yes, and regardless, if someone does get a hold of it and they're not a visit member, we can politely ignore their ballot.
No, their ballot isn't, their ballot is
Yeah,
valid.
if you do, vote, you have not paid your visit dues, which I probably will just send it out to the Met Majors mailing list, but if you have not paid your visit dues, your vote will not be counted. There's some fancy technical language in there about who exactly is allowed to vote. It's a whole situation. Amendment number 1, giving Alex a job. And also removing the concept of committees, which were kind of the stand-in for Alex's job and also Eric and I's job. This will change basically nothing about the way that Visit already runs. It's just updating the Constitution to reflect the way things are currently going. I very genuinely do not remember an operations committee or an activities committee existing. I don't know if the seniors did.
No.
Several people are shaking their heads. Please keep in mind this Constitution was written a decade ago. So it's affecting a few different articles. If you care to read it, you can. This is the original Constitution. Notice how it says the 4 elected officers. We have 5 elected officers.
How did this go unnoticed for so long?
My guess is that people did not open the president's binder or the secretary binder or any sort of transition material.
What is the webmaster?
Great question. He was supposed to maintain a web page, but we don't have access to any web, as far as I'm concerned.
It's Kevin.
So. This is the original committee's article. It's saying that we're supposed to have 2 standing committees that Eric and I believe it's Keaton?
Secretary and treasurer.
The secretary, Keaton and Peyton both. are
yeah.
supposed to co-chair something. We have not done that. We did not do that last year. If we did, I didn't know about it. And as far as I know, we also didn't have that my freshman year. So again, super outdated. Oh, and there's the duties of office. Notice how there's nothing about a sophomore social chair. I'm done. So this is the new version. Only Article 1 in the officers section actually changed. All it says is that there's also a sophomore social chair and there are 5 elected officers. Activities and operations is replacing the committee's article, basically outlining like operations stuff is Eric and I's job. Activity stuff is Alex and Peyton's job. That's the gist of it. Is there anybody who wants me to leave this up so that they can read the exact wording? Cool. And then Article 10 is just updating the secretary section to say that Peyton is taking care of our social media pages and giving Alex a job.
Yay, I'm
Yay.
employed.
Oh, you're unemployed.
Yeah, so we're not gonna have this be a vote right now. I mean, yep. We're not gonna have this be a vote right now, but now that you all have seen this, keep it in mind for when that form is sent out. This might sound a little familiar, because Skylar just talked about it a little bit ago. This is affecting our article, that's supposed to say 8, I think. But you know what? Nobody's perfect. There are 2 major changes that come with this. It limits the number of nominations that someone can receive prior to election night, and it limits the circumstances under which we can floor nominate people. Otherwise, it's formalizing some procedures that Kayak, Amos, and Visit already follow. So the reason why we did this is elections have lasted 3+ hours in the past. That's a very, very long time. Current elections procedures aren't reflected in our constitution or any of our org's constitutions, even though we've pretty much always co-host them. And this is also to kind of serve as a standardization between AMS, Kayak, and Visit. So this is our original constitution about elections. It's very, very short. Notice how there's nothing about the order in which we elect, in which the orgs elect people. There's also nothing limiting the number of positions that you could run for. So hypothetically, under the old constitution, someone could run for literally every position if they were of sophomore standing. This is the new one. It's a little bit longer. It's formalizing the fact that AMS, IF, and VUSA all hold elections on the same day. It's formalizing the order that we've been doing it in, where Kayak goes first and then VUSA and AMS switch off by year. It's limiting the number of positions to 2 unless you're in Kayak, in which case it is 3, but you can still only run for 2 positions in any one work. It's also formalizing the fact that you can't serve on more than 1 meteorology board per year. So I cannot also be president of AMS or Kayak. I can't even be the sophomore social chair of AMS or Kayak, mostly because I'm not a sophomore. Then it's also limiting floor nominations to uncontested candidates and no candidates. Amendment number 3. This may also sound a little familiar. This will serve to formalize proceedings in the event that any member of VUSA faces discrimination or harassment. VUSA is open to everybody. VUSA is inclusive. We want to foster a safe, welcoming, inclusive environment for all VUSA members. Notice how there's not an original, but the update is 4 slides long. If anybody would like to read this in full, you may raise your hand and I will leave it up until your hand goes down. Otherwise, I'm continuing in 3 seconds. If anybody would like to read this in full, please raise your hand. Incredible. I'm not even going to ask it. I know where you live. And last one. This is basically. You're in. This is basically saying, please don't harass people. If you do, there are consequences for harassing people, is the TLDR. Also, you thought we were done, we're not. So we're adding a few things to our bylaws this year. Note that these are not something that requires a vote. Believe me, we checked and we spent more than enough time staring at the Constitution to know the contrary was the case. The big 3 things that we're instituting are safety checks for anyone who's driving on a day chase. So we're going to be taking down driver's license numbers, making sure that those are still in date, same with insurance information. We're going to be doing, do you all remember when you took your driver's test and they sat you behind the wheel of the car and they were like, okay, put on your left blinker, put on your right blinker. Great.
I'm just kidding.
Listen, I practically got my driver's license from Cracker Jack box. So, I don't know if that's a universal thing, but we're going to do something kind of similar. Just make sure your headlights work, your taillights work, your brakes work, your windshield wipers work, your windshield also works and isn't completely gone. Just basic stuff like that to make sure that nobody crashes and dies on the road. We're also going to be introducing that you can only drive your own vehicle. So your name has to be on your insurance, whether your parents pay for it or not. And you own the car, you know the license plate number, you know who you need to call if something goes terribly wrong. We're also going to be doing a chase driver pre-check where if you've been on a day chase before and you're eligible to drive, your name will be on a sign-in sheet basically saying like, check, I'm willing to drive, check, I can be present at the code red at this date and time. If you've been on a day chase before, we have record of it, you don't need to come tell us, we know. And then addressing the recurring issue of people chasing outside of VUSA. Unless you have something to where like you're going to be asked to be out in the field by a separate entity. So if you're a Skywarn spotter and they request spotter activation, or I know someone has an agreement with a TV channel where they can get footage for them, that's kind of an extenuating circumstance. But otherwise, if you go out into the field within 48 hours of a code yellow, we reserve the right to bar you in future cases, whether that's on a temporary or permanent basis. Stuff like that will be assessed on a case by case basis by the e-board as a whole, so it's not gonna be like someone sat out on their back porch, they're kicked out of Visit forever. That's not what we're doing. It's mostly going to be things like, we're chasing a setup that's going to happen, like, if things go wrong around sunset or something like that, which highly unlikely in the first place, but just on the off chance. Someone goes out into the field, get themselves hurt. Say, well, I'm in Visit. No, you're not. Not while you're doing that. And then regardless of whatever you do, whether or not it's within the bounds of what's acceptable, you don't get Visit ground support. So we usually have 1 or 2 people posted up in the weather center while we're out to just give us live updates, because they can be a little more focused on what's going on around us than we can if we're in a car staring out the window being like, huh, that Pepsi semi looks awfully close to our car. So not that that's happened or anything. But this also only applies to the academic year. So if you go chasing over the summer, what are we gonna do? But TLDR, please use common sense. If we find out that you weren't, we are well within our right to not bring you on future chases. So just something to bear in mind. If anybody has any questions about this, feel free to talk to me. Feel free to bring up any concerns that you have about any of this stuff, or if you have any suggestions for how we can make chasing a little safer. Our bylaws were also written in like 2011, 2012. So storm chasing culture back then was a lot more tame than it is now. The term zero meter was not invented back then.
The lie.
And Tim Samaras was a lie. That's a big thing. May that man rest in peace.
You guys are foul.
Yeah, they are.
We're right. So, yeah. Also, do the FEMA thing.
Please.
Yeah, we'll find you. We have your emails.
I can also do that.
I know
maybe.
Well, you can also do that pages about that you do. So. Direct any questions about that to them?
Cool. All right. Just as a quick reminder, if you are on the ad hoc committee, please stay behind. I'm going to talk with you about how the procedure will go for election amendments and stuff.
Look at that office last time.
No, it will not be.
Okay.
You were on the previous ad hoc committee, you are no longer eligible. Just keep the pool even and fair. All right.
Again, if anybody has questions, I'll also be sticking around. If I want to do that.
If you want banquet tickets, buy banquet tickets, or else.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and drive home, but I just got word that Route 2 is at so if I have to come around, that's what I do.
Yes.
If you have, you call me. Well, no.
I don't need to. Oh, God, please. All right, stop there. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Bye, Hannah.
Bye, Hannah.
So fucking try. Hold on, how do I stop recording?